everyone, this is an introduction to inequalities. So this is not in your workbook, but you have the worksheet in front of you. And we're going to talk real quick about the basics of inequalities, what they are, how to graph them, all that good stuff. So an inequality is a mathematical sentence that contains the symbols less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. So let's go ahead and write those out so that we know. So less than, greater than. And as we write these, a lot of times kids will tell me, oh, the alligator eats the bigger number. And that is true. However, now in 7th grade, you have to know which one is which. You can't just draw the symbol and say, oh, the bigger one is the one with the, open sign. So you have to be able to know which one is the less than symbol, which one is the greater than symbol. Again, kids will tell me like, well, it depends on how you want to read it. And if a symbol is written in there, you have to read that symbol. Okay, you can't choose if you can't say like if it looks like this. I'll give you an example so you kind of know what I'm talking about. If you have 3 is less than 5, you can't read that as 5 is bigger than 3. You have to read that as 3 is less than 5 because that's the less than symbol. Okay, so that's what I mean. You can't read it the other way around. Okay, and then underneath, this is less than or greater to, or sorry, less than or equal to. And then this one is greater than or equal to. Okay, one way to remember those symbols, which one is which, is that the less than symbol kind of looks like an L for less. And then this one takes a little more imagination, but if you look at this, it's almost like the beginning of the G for greater than. Okay, so you can kind of use those to help you remember which one is which. Okay, so what we're going to talk about is how to graph these things. If a number is greater than 7, I'm talking about all the numbers that are bigger than 7, or all the numbers that are to the right of 7 on the number line. If something is less than -4, it's all the numbers to the left of -4. If I have a number greater than or equal to 6, then we're including 6 and all the numbers bigger than 6. If we're less than or equal to 1, we're including 1 and all the numbers less than that. So we're actually going to jump down and practice graphing these for 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if C is less than 5, we know that it's going to be all the numbers to the left of 5. But we are not including 5. Not including 5. So if we're not including 5, we need to make this an open circle. So for number 1, it has an open circle because we're not including 5. It needs to be less than 5. It can be anything less than 5, so we make our arrow go to the left. It might help to use a different color to kind of see on the number line. Okay, for number 2, now we're talking about numbers that are greater than -5. Greater than -5. So this is still not including -5, so it's going to be an open circle. So find -5 and make an open circle. And then if numbers are greater than -5, which way does it go? It's going to go to the right. This is where some people get confused. -3 is greater than -5, and you can think like money. Like, what would you rather? Would you rather owe someone $6 or would you rather owe them $3? It's better to only owe them 3. -3 is greater than -5. Okay, now we're going to switch to the ones that are greater than or equal to. So this one includes 10. And for number 4, it's going to include -1. To show that we're including 10, we're actually going to fill in the circle. And you can also think of that as closed, like a closed circle. Okay, and if it's greater than or equal to 10, we're going to go to the right. Okay, if a number is less than or equal to -1, we're going to fill it in because we're including the -1, and it's all the numbers to the left. And the number lines keep going, so it goes to either negative infinity or infinity based on which direction it's going. Okay, so let's take a moment to refresh that. So open circle for less than or greater than, because we're not including, and closed circle for less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. Okay, so make sure that you have this note here too, so you know which one is which. Okay, for the other ones, we're going to solve them just like we solved equations. So if y plus 6 is less than 11, I'm going to write it out here so we have a little room to solve. A number plus 6 is less than 11. We're going to solve it just like an equation, absolutely the same way. So -6 minus 6. And now I have y is less than 5. So anything less than 5 will make that a true statement. Anything less than 5 will make that a true statement. And if you want to, go ahead and check some of those, like all of these numbers here. If you plug all those in, it'll be true. So like 2 plus 6, yep, that's less than 11. 3 plus 6 is less than 11. 0 plus 6 is less than 11. Anything at all to the left here is going to be a true statement when I plug it into the inequality. Okay, you know what less than or greater than means. Okay, for number 6, we have a number minus 6 is greater than 0. So we need to know what numbers would make that true. So something minus 6 is bigger than 0. If we add 6 to both sides, we get that a is greater than 6. So anything bigger than 6 will work, and that's an open circle because of the greater than symbol. It's not including 6. 6 won't make that a true statement because 6 minus 6 is 0, and 0 isn't greater than 0. Okay, again, you can plug in any of these numbers. So any of these, 7, 8, 9, 10. You could even go on like with 11, 12. All of those will be true. So if you plug any of those in, like 12 minus 6, that's going to be more than 0. You can just check those on your calculator. You don't have to write them anymore. Okay, why don't you try 7 and 8 on your own, and then I'll graph the solutions. So 7 and 8, those are just one-step equations. Go ahead and solve those and see what you get. And then try to graph them on the line. Okay, if you didn't pause it and try to do it. If you did it already, you can keep listening. Okay, when I divide by 4 on both sides, I get that q is less than or equal to 8. So I'm going to include 8 because it can be 8. Okay, that's what the or equal to part means. But it has to be less than that, so it's all these numbers to the left. And then over here, if I divide both sides by 9, I get that w is greater than 5. So w has to be more than 5. It can't be 5, though, so I'm going to keep that as an open circle. Okay, hopefully you're using a different color when you graph because it'll be easier to see the open or closed. How did you do? If we try the last two, those are two-step equations. So how about this? I'll do number 9 with you, then you can try number 10 on your own and see if you're right. 2r plus 5 is less than or equal to 19. Okay, we're going to subtract 5 from both sides, and we get 2r is less than or equal to 14. Okay, remember we wanted to get rid of the positive 5, so we subtracted 5. Now I divide by 2 on both sides, and r is less than or equal to 7. I'm including the 7 because it says it can be 7, and then it's all the numbers to the left. Now, just a quick side note. This is a positive 2r. We divided by a positive 2. Not today, but in the future lessons, we're going to discover what happens when we divide by negative numbers when it comes to these inequalities. So just pay attention that today we're not dividing by any negatives, and we're not multiplying by any negatives. But when we do, something special happens. Nothing scary, but just something a little bit different. Okay, go ahead and try number 10 on your own. This one says 5x minus 7 is greater than or equal to -2. Go ahead, try that on your own and pause it. Okay, did you get that 5x is greater than or equal to +5? And then you divide both sides by 5, and x is greater than or equal to 1. Okay, did you fill it in at 1? And did you include all the numbers to the right? Okay, so that's inequalities. You can refer back to any of those examples as you work through the problems on the back. So now your homework is to finish these ones on the back. 1 through 8 are just simple inequalities. And then 9 through 23, you don't have to graph. Okay, you just need to solve them and box your answer. They're just like equations. So if you're confused, just pretend like it's an equal sign for now. Okay, none of these have those special scenarios I was telling you about, so you don't need to know that. It's just like equations for all of these. Okay, shouldn't take you too long, and that's a wrap on inequalities.